the ace of the staff. Let's welcome in Logan Webb. Let's bring a friend of mine in, Pat Burrow. Pat, how are you today?
Bill, I'm doing great, man. Glad to be on with you.
Giants fans, this is Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
On your exclusive home of the San Francisco Giants. KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM. The sports leader.
Here's the 0-2. Geloff strikes out swinging. Bivens gets a couple strikeouts, retires the A's 1-2-3 in the bottom of the ninth, and all the Giants fans who came here tonight in Sacramento have something to cheer about at the very end. The Giants with an impressive all-around performance, and they beat the A's by the final score of 7-2.
Welcome into a Saturday extra inning postgame show with Bill Laskey, and the Giants put it away tonight with early runs in the first, the third, a home run by Ramos in the fifth, a key hit in the sixth, and the Giants prevail and they win 7-2, 7 runs, 10 hits, a home run by Elliot Ramos. But the night belonged to Willy Adames, a key hit in the first inning, bases loaded, and he came up in a clutch situation. Got a nice base hit, and he did it again in the third inning. After it was a 2-out rally, Ramos and Devers ground out to second. Chapman gets a base hit. Jung-Hoo Lee gets a base hit, and Willy Adames comes in and hits one down the line, and they score. 2 of them score. So Willy Adames goes 3 for 5 today with 4 RBIs, and he's getting hot, and that's what's good about this. Well, the whole lineup turned up different today with Matt Chapman playing third base, batting fourth. A little length in this, coming after Devers. I mean, the batting order looked solid, and it came out to be a good win for Logan Webb as he pitched another gem, getting his 900th strikeout tonight. It took him 165 games to do it, but he got out of a jam in the second inning with a double play, got out of a jam in the sixth inning with a double play, and he prevailed on going 6 2/3 of a game, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. Got up to 108 pitches tonight, 67 for strikes. The first pitch strikes were there, 17 out of 28 hitters, 8 ground ball outs, 4 fly ball outs. And the splits of his pitches, he threw sinkers, slurves, changeups, and cutters, his 4 great pitches. The sinker was really moving today, threw 53 of those, 26 changeup. He always goes to the changeup. He had 6 strikeouts, and 5 of them were by the changeup. 19 slurves, as I say, sliders, and 3 cutters, and a couple fastballs, which is something he's starting to elevate with the fastball. But he got the win tonight. He's 8-6. And I would have to put a check mark by his name being a National League All-Star pitcher when you look at the numbers as he ends, they say, the first half before the All-Star break. 19 starts he's had. 15 of them are quality starts. 15 out of the 19. 2, he went 8 innings. 6, he went 7 innings. 7 of them 6 innings plus. A stellar first half for 19 starts. Overall numbers for Logan Webb, 120 in the third innings, 113 hits, 35 earned runs, 27 walks, 133 strikeouts. That's right, Logan Webb, 133 strikeouts, a 2.62 earned run average. And he probably could have had 10 or 11, maybe even 12 wins if the Giants would have scored some runs. But I'm sure he's happy with the win tonight, especially how the Giants played last night, losing to the Athletics 11-2. Tonight, it was all Giants. It was good defense. It was really key hitting by Willy Adames and home run by Ramos. And the Giants end up winning, going 48-42. They picked up a game on the Dodgers and the Padres. And tomorrow's a big game. They're 4-5 on the road trip, on a 10-game road trip. And all eyes are going to be on Hayden Birdsong. He's had a couple rough outings, 3-3 with a 4.3 earned run average. His last 2 outings has not been good. He walked 4 guys in both of those. And in his Arizona start, if you remember, he threw 10 straight balls, and he ended up giving up a 3-run home run. So tomorrow he's going to have to go out there and find the zone and work his pitches. His last start, he didn't throw 1 curveball. So we got to see a little more of that in his repertoire that he's throwing tomorrow. Now, the Giants are going to have to overcome the left-hander. Jacob Lopez is pitching for the Athletics. The Giants are 8-15 against left-hand starters. When you go to the opposite side, they're 40-27 against right-handers. Jacob Lopez has been pitching pretty good for the Athletics. For 7 innings, he shut out the Detroit Tigers. He gave up only 1 run to the Houston Astros, and the Astros have beat the Dodgers twice. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. Again, a 7:05 start. So we'll talk about that tomorrow, because it's going to be a big game. And then the Phillies come to town Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at Oracle with a day off Thursday. And then the LA Dodgers finishes off the first half 3-game weekend series. 808 KNBR, if you want to get on the phone lines, let's get some talking about this game. Logan Webb, is he a National League All-Star? Robbie Ray with him. All the utility players as well as the pitching staffs are going to be announced tomorrow. We'll have that for the post-game show and talk about the rest of the players, maybe Rafael Devers, maybe Elliot Ramos. We'll find out tomorrow. All right, let's take a quick break on the Extra Inning post-game show. My name is Bill Laskey, 415-808 KNBR. We'll be right back on the Sports Leader.
Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Heard on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR.
2-2 pitch. Soderstrom bounces it to second. Wisely flipped to second one. Adames to first. Got him, double play. Webb gets a ground ball just in time.
Back on the Extra Inning post-game show on a Saturday on a beautiful weekend, 4th of July weekend. The Giants win this one up at Sutter Health Park 7-2. All 9 batters in the Giants order reached base today. It's the 7th time that happened in the season. And also it's a 10-game road trip, and they're 4-5 on the road trip. One more game, and they could go 5-5, where it really wasn't too good at one time. They were 1-4 on this road trip, so they've been battling back. The 2 games in Arizona, the 3rd and 4th game. They lost yesterday, a big win today. Of course, Logan Webb gets his 8th win. He's 8-6, 2.62. And, of course, behind him, Randy Rodriguez came in a very difficult situation right there. It was 1st and 3rd, and Jacob Wilson was coming up to bat. Of course, he's the starting shortstop in the American League All-Star team, and he took an 0 for 4 tonight. Very seldom he goes 0 for. And he got him to pop out to shortstop to end the rally. And you can see Logan Webb pacing the dugout a little bit because those 2 runners at 1st and 3rd were his. And he got out, and, of course, the clap. He was pretty excited about that. I would be, too, because that would have been more than 2 earned runs. And he got away with it. So Randy Rodriguez comes in, gets a 3rd. Tyler Rogers on 7 pitches, 6 for strikes, gets a 1-2-3 inning. And then Spencer Bivens came in and really threw the ball well, getting a couple strikeouts with a clean 1-2-3 inning, and the Giants prevail 48-42 on the season, and now they got 1 left, and they beat the Athletics 4 out of 5 times, and they got 1 more there, and that'd be real nice to beat them 5 out of 6, and then come home and play the Phillies Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a real tough series right there. They get the day off, and of course next weekend I'll be on Sports Phone KNBR on Friday, and then the 2 extra inning post-game shows following up those 3 games against the L.A. Dodgers. 415-808 KNBR. Let's get to the phone lines. Let's go to John in South San Francisco. John, you're on an extra inning post-game show. What'd you think of the game tonight?
Hey, Bill, how are you? First of all, I thought the game was pretty well, man. I thought Logan Webb, he pitched like an all-star out there tonight, Bill. I think he deserves to be in the all-star game.
So do I.
No doubt about it.
Well, you heard the numbers I threw out there, John. You know, I threw the numbers out there, 120 in the 3rd innings, 27 walks, 133 strikeouts. That's impressive right there with a 2.62 earned run average. You're not going to beat too many starters after 19 starts, 15 of them quality starts, and, of course, a quality start is going 6 innings with 3 runs or less.
I no doubt about it. And it was really huge to see Matt Chapman back in the lineup today. They needed a spark on offense. That was really huge tonight, Bill. I mean,
I thought so
really
too.
Big.
It kind of gave him energy. And, you know, he's kind of the captain in that clubhouse. And when you're injured, it's tough to try to rally the troops. That first ball he got drilled in, I was like, oh my goodness, he got drilled in the tricep, right in the arm. You saw him look out there. He wasn't real happy with Severino, and you saw Bob Melvin skirming a little bit. They had 3 of the Giants again today, 3 hit by pitch.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting to a point where I see where the ball's tailing in on the hitters, but sometimes those guys are throwing those sinkers as hard as they can, and when you do that, you have no control where it's going.
Absolutely, Bill. And I thought the whole team played well tonight. I give credit to Logan Webb, playing in his hometown and Sacramento. You know, what a story that is. You know, you grew up in Rockland, and you know, I didn't know he was an A's fan back in the day as a young kid, but now he's with us as a Giant. You know, forever.
Hey, John, what'd you think of him as a high school football quarterback? They showed a couple clips on him. He was a pretty little quarterback, couple of nice spirals in those videos.
Yeah, you know, it's funny is, you know, he did have a good arm back in the day for football. I mean, he kind of reminded me like, who's that last quarterback who ever played football? Not Samardzija, because Samardzija was a wide receiver at the time.
Yeah, he was a tight end.
Yeah, I forgot he was a tight end. Yeah, because you had players playing football back in the day in high school and college.
Hey, John,
and
let me throw this one to you. Let me throw this question to you, John. Willie Adames coming up with a couple clutch hits today. He's starting to relax a little bit, making better contact. He goes 3 for 5, 4 RBIs, and the 2 RBIs in the first inning were so clutch at that time. It gave Logan Webb a little breathing room.
Absolutely. I thought Willie played pretty well tonight, Bill. I mean, you know, last night there was no offense spark, but today the whole team just said, you know what, let's change it up. And I really liked what Willie Adames did, and Hilly Ramos hitting the home run in the dead center in that little garage. It's, you know, at the Rivercat Field. But, yeah, and my other question is, Bill, do you think Robbie Ray's a Cy Young contention yet, or is it just too early?
Why not?
To call on that one?
Oh, hell yes. Why wouldn't he be? I mean, his numbers are sensational, too, and both these guys should be standing on the line in Atlanta as all-stars because his last outing, remember, he goes 9 innings against Arizona, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, a couple solo home runs. He goes in the 9th inning with only 78 pitches. No, he's definitely there. And here's another guy. We talked about quality starts with Logan Webb. He's got 18 starts, 10 of them is quality starts. So, yeah, I think both of them could easily be. He's 9-3. Logan Webb's 8-6.
Right.
I think they both can be standing in Atlanta with the Giants uniform on for All-Stars.
I can see that happen, Bill. I mean, they deserve to be in the All-Star game. Well, we'll find out tomorrow if they can get it. They get in.
Yeah, we'll find out tomorrow. Well, they'll know. They probably will know today or maybe early in the morning. They usually call them and they tell them, you know, beginning of the day. And it's going to be exciting. This will be Logan Webb's second All-Star if he gets it. Robbie Ray's been there also. But when you think about the Giants' pitching staff, those are the two that really stand out in the rotation. I just want to know if they're going to take Randy Rodriguez because he has just been lights out on the bullpen this year.
Oh, he's been great, Bill. I mean, I see him one day as a future closer, one day as a Giant, you know? I mean, he has good
It's possible.
velocity.
He's just got to grow into it. You know, you saw what he did in Colorado. It was tough for him, and I think he thought about it way too much.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, Bill, as we approach the second half, do the Giants get another starting pitcher in the trading deadline, or do they go after another power hitter as well?
That's a good question because I threw that out this morning. I did the warm-up show with Shayna Rubin, and I asked Shayna that, and she was just like, they want to stick with what they have right now. Carson Whisenhunt threw a hell of a game for Reno against Reno tonight. Casey Schmidt was down there, and he did a rehab start with the Rivercats today. He played second base. He went 1 for 3 with a base hit with a walk. So he might be back in this Philly series playing second base. You put him in this lineup, and you got a little more punch at the bottom of the lineup too.
Yeah, absolutely. But I know tomorrow's game, Birdsong has to pitch well tomorrow.
I agree.
He has to pitch well tomorrow. I mean, last outing was
it's
not
really
that
it's
good.
really up to him, John, to kind of snap out of this middle inning drum where he starts walking people. Landon Roop did the same thing in his last start in the fifth inning, and I don't know what it is, if they're thinking too much or they're trying to be too fine. I go back to one of my rookie year and my second year. You start making yourself better if you start just relaxing, and I think these guys don't get enough runs where they can relax. They try to pinpoint too much, or they try to strike out a guy when they don't need to. And you can't do that at 23 years old and 26 years old. Landon Roop got a nice rhythm, a couple starts. His last outing was okay. He started off pretty good, and then he got in a little trouble.
A little shaky as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, John,
Bill.
thanks for the call
Bill,
tonight. Thanks for the call tonight, and I appreciate your time. Let's go up to Portland and talk to my buddy Greg. Greg, you're on the Extra Inning Postgame Show on a Saturday. Giants win today. They go to 48-42.
Hi, Bill. Haven't talked to you for a while.
How are you, pal? Yeah, how are you?
Well, I'm happy. It's good night.
After last night's game, I think all Giants fans are happy. That last night's game, trying to do a post-game show with that, it didn't work out too well for me. Greg.
Well, I listened to you. It was, even though it was 11 runs. It was, but I did listen. Got a number of things I haven't talked to you for a while, so I'll be quick. First off, you mentioned or somebody about the importance of the Giants scoring first. That's evident with these guys. They have weak bats, and I don't think it's going to change. And score first, and even with these guys, when they score first, they do well. And hopefully they can.
Let me ask you this, Greg. How many times do you think they scored first for Logan Webb this year? Not many. Put it that way.
I would say I can't tell you how many, but I agree with you. Not many.
Not many. I'll tell you that. He probably in the first inning, he's probably sitting in the dugout and looking at the scoreboard, going, "You guys got me 2 runs and I haven't even pitched yet? Really? Okay, I can work with that."
Okay, before I get into the meat of my call, I listened. It was one of these rare afternoons I was here, and I listened to you all day. Great I don't get to listen to the pregame very often. Really, what a good show. And
thank you.
The young man from he's a scout. I can't remember his name.
Shooty Babbitt. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was really impressed with him, and the best thing, which has nothing to do with how you play on the field, or maybe it does. And you know me, I'm a traditionalist. This young man sounded like me. Home whites, road grays.
Yeah.
These uniforms of the last 4 days have driven me to distraction. First of all, they're starting to wear their black tops, which I hate. Now, I've never seen it until lately, with their road grays on the road. I said, oh, God, more tavern balls.
Well, they switched it up after
and
they lost so many games. That's what they did, Greg. They put the black on.
Yeah, and they went 2 in a row.
Arizona. That's when they wore them.
Yeah, I know why. They won, and I'm as superstitious as any athlete.
That's what they did.
But then today, the blue and the red and the white and the Dodger blue. Oh God! And today it was so good to see home whites, road grays, and this young guy.
San Francisco on the front. That was a classic with the San Francisco
and the young man said what we all say. He says, like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Giants, the Cardinals. How can you improve on something that's so good? Just stick with that. Okay, now, and you agree with me. Now, here's baseball talk. I'm as good as things are going. They're getting up in the world of errors again, and the base running. We won big, but the base running is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, it's got to get cleaned up.
Got to be cleaned up, and this has gone on for what, 3 months?
Well, I'm going to say one thing here, Greg. Matt Williams and Buster Posey at that time, when they weren't scoring and they weren't hitting a lot of hits, Matt Williams was trying to push it. And a couple times he pushed it, and it was a joke. The one that got me was in the 9th inning when he tried to push Jung-Hoo Lee in, and the left fielder caught it and threw him out at home. And it would have been 1st and 3rd with 1 out, and I thought that was an overextension of doing it. Today, Brett Wisely went through the stop sign. I was kidding around with my producer before it came on. It was like, stop, go, go. It was one of those kind. And
I like Brett Wisely as a baseball player, but he's had a bad string here.
Terrible base runner, man.
In the last 2 weeks, 10 days. And
picked off at first base, picked off at third base. Yeah, he had a couple bad days back to back.
What happened today in your imagine? I watched the game. He seemed to looked Fleming said he looked down, but I didn't see it that way. He seemed to hesitate and then decide I got to go, and he who hesitates is lost.
They showed the camera angle on it. I think
Wisely.
you saw the same thing, Greg. You saw the camera angle like I did where he came around third, but you saw Matt Williams with the stop sign because Devers hit that ball down the corner and Wisely was on first. And I was like, you're not that fast to come from first to home. No way. And then you saw him just go right through Matt Williams. And that hesitation, you're absolutely right. The hesitation, you're never going to get in unless there's a bad throw.
Okay, before I leave you, and this has been going on for a couple of weeks, and I'm sitting here, watching the game, listening to you. I want you to, I admire you for standing up to the Boo Birds about Buster Posey. Buster Posey is the best thing that has happened to this team in the last 9 months. Less than a year.
He's a baseball
man.
He's a baseball
we hit
man.
some
He's
adversity.
a baseball player. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I appreciate you saying
Spot
that,
on,
Greg,
Bill.
because it got to me after a while, after 2 or 3 phone calls. Fire Bob Melvin, fire Buster Posey. He's not the president.
No.
And I finally just put my foot down. I said, you know what? I'm the nicest guy you can talk to on the radio, but when you start jabbing me with the same stuff, I'm going to the next caller, and I'm not even thinking twice.
No, Bill, you are.
And,
you're so
I
patient.
did do that.
And you put up with yahoos, including me, but and I've called other. I've been in Boston. If you screw up, you're gone in 10 seconds. And I'm listening to this, and what are you talking about? And I said, the next time I call in, I'm going to tell Bill, good job with the Boo Birds on Posey. Posey is the best thing that's happened.
Same thing with Bob Melvin and Pat Burrell and everybody wants to just put a noose around all the coaches. And the other thing, Greg, I'll throw to you is after they did the extension to Bob Melvin, and this is what I said to myself, that's the perfect answer. Logan Webb and Matt Chapman both said, hey, it's not our coaches that we're losing. It's not our coaches because we're not hitting. It's upon us, and we got to get better pitching. We got to do better hitting. We got to do better base running. They both said that, and I just said kudos to finally listening to a player and a pitcher like myself because that's where it starts, Greg. It doesn't start with your coaches. They prepare these guys so well. You can see them in the dugout of their iPads. You see Damon Meyer talking about the incoming pitcher. They have so much good preparation, and they're in there 12 hours, 14 hours. That's why I don't listen to that crap from callers, because you don't know how much they work.
Hey, Bill, keep up the good work.
Sir.
Let's see if now we've got some really tough games coming up ahead.
Got 7 left before the All-Star break, Greg, and it's going to get crunch time here, but we might get Casey Schmidt back. He was in Reno tonight. We got Matt Chapman back, so you got a little more spark in this lineup, and I'm really excited to see Matt Chapman back in this lineup. Greg, it's always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. Take care. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Got a couple calls on hold. Don't go anywhere. Mike Aldrey is going to join me. I ended up talking to him today. Got a great conversation with him. Of course, he's with the Athletics on the coaching staff. Also, he played with the Giants and the A's. Had a great 10-year career. So I sat down with Mike Aldrey. We're going to play that later in the show. So, Bill Laskey, this is Extra Innings. We're going to take a quick break and come back with more phone calls right here on the Sports Leader.
best.
Hear him by saying to your smart speaker, play KNBR.
That was pretty cool. I was wish I'd give like a wave or something, but it's always awkward in those moments. I don't know why. You don't know whether or not to wave or do something, and but I feel the love from the Sacramento crowd, and it's like I said, it was awesome to pitch at home.
Back on the Extra Inning post-game show, Logan Webb talking about the applause he got coming off the mound today, and of course he grew up in Rockland. He said the Sacramento crowd was really showing me a lot of love, and I think a lot of Giants fans were showing him some love tonight because the ballpark was packed last night with Giants fans. Tonight again, and most likely tomorrow, 7:05 starts. So Logan Webb, what a great performance he put on today, and when you're looking at his starts, I keep raving about him. 19 starts, 15 of them are quality starts, 6 innings or more with 3 innings or less. 2 times he's gone 8 innings, 6 times 7 innings, 7 times 6 innings plus. Just a very impressive first half. And it's really more than the first half because it's more than 83 games, but the All-Star break is coming. His next start will most likely be Friday or Saturday against the Dodgers at Oracle Park, so that should be a good rematch. He threw a hell of a game last time against them, so it'll be a fun one, no question. That's the last one he goes, and hopefully he will be flying to Atlanta with Robbie Ray and maybe a couple other players, so we'll find out tomorrow when they announce all the reserves and the pitching staff. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go to Noah. He was at the game today in Sacramento. Noah, you're on the Extra Inning post-game show. Pretty exciting game for to watch today.
It was fun game to see, Bill. We took the drive up to Highway 5 from Modesto to catch the game.
Beautiful.
And just the atmosphere was so wonderful. All these Giants fans, and as you're saying, the applause that Webb got going off the mound, all these Giants fans standing out. And to see the game in that intimate setting of a small field, minor league field, it was fantastic to see the Giants succeed and win. And I agree, Webb should be an all-star. And just kind of an inside ball game here, it was Rockland versus Turlock. And when you had Webb versus Otterstrom on pitching, it's like this was the battle of the valley going at it. And it was that one key bat and that he got him. Yeah.
Did you ever go to Sutter Health Field before, Noah? Was that the first time you went there?
It's the first time I went there for a ball game. I'd been there for other activities, like they hold a run there, like a half marathon. Right. I've done that there, but in the triathlon, the Sacramento Ironman's there, but not a ball game. That was the first time that I'd been there. So what did you think of the aura of the park? Did you like it? I mean, it's a great AAA park. I did TV up there with Johnny Dasco for 3 years. I used to go up there on Saturdays and do the River Cat games. It's a different kind of ballpark. The ball does carry a little bit. Of course, you saw Elliot Ramos go dead center field with a home run today. But just the aura of the park, did you like it? Yes, I did. It was fun. It felt like that setting in terms of minor league with a major league atmosphere, the fans. I like to see that every now and then, but I think we also need to have our home park and how that feeling is. But that is kind of like a little bandbox. It's so true. Right, and I was watching batting practice and just crushing the ball, and Ramos' homer, I was like, wow, just over that 403 sign out there. But yeah, let me throw you another one, Noah. Let me throw you another, Noah. The Willie Adames base hit in the first inning, and then him coming back up in the third with 2 key hits. And really, the third inning was 2 outs. In the first inning was 2 outs. Both of those hits were so key to get the Giants that 4-run lead. And that's the difference, Bill, that I see is the clutch hitting. We got to keep that going. And you saw all these hits coming through. You saw Devers have that double, even though you got that thrown out. But Devers, and then you also had Bailey hit that ball. So if we put it all together, you get those clutch hitting in order. It's like Adames, 3 for 4 ribbies. Man, and he had fun. Yeah, 3 for 5. But the other one, too,
Noah, the other one that we keep forgetting about was Brett Wisely coming up in the 6th inning after Smith got hit and then Bailey got the double. 0-2 count on him where he tried to bunt the first pitch, and he hung it, and he smoked a double in the right center field. Of course, last night hit his first home run there. I thought that was key for him, coming in a spot, playing second base, batting against a right-hander, and he ended up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. And we can't forget about little old Brett Wisely because he can make contact when he gets up there.
And that's also going to be real key, that second base position.
Yeah.
Whatever happens going forward, if someone wins that position, whether Wisely takes it, we get Schmidt coming back, and that is also going to be a key position there. But Wisely hitting, fielding, turning 2 double plays, big difference in the game.
Yeah, I said it earlier, Noah. Casey Schmidt was in Reno today playing for the River Cats. He did start at second base tonight. He went 1 for 3 with a base hit and a walk and played flawless defense at second. And I think they are prepping him to be that second baseman because when Chapman was out, he put on a tear of playing third base and defense and ripping the ball until he got hit in the hand. And let's just hope he comes back as strong as he did.
And that's another thought I had, Bill, is when Ramos got hit, you could hear the stadium just, whoa, here we go again. And the concern, obviously, was, is he okay? We don't need another hit on the hand. And that just goes to the overall health of the team, that if we get the players back healthy, we make a run for a playoff
I think
spot.
so, too.
So
I think so too, Noah. I think with Chapman coming back, with Chapman coming back, and he's got a little more strength in the middle of the order. You put Schmidt down in the 7 spot, and you're going to have some length in this lineup now. And I think that's what Bob Melvin and Buster Posey's been waiting for this offense. And when you get guys like that, everybody starts relaxing. You were at the game. They were relaxing in that dugout. You had Willie Adames, Rafael Devers, Matos. They were all kind of kidding at the end of the dugout. And that's when you get the spirit going in this team. That's when you get the motivation going, picking each other up. But, Noah, thanks for the call tonight. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad you enjoyed the game up in Sacramento. You might have to go up there and watch a River Cat game here or there.
Yes, will do.
All right, Noah, thank you. Thank you, Noah. Let's go to Santa Rosa and talk to Ramon. Ramon, you're on an extra inning post-game show. Did you end up watching the game tonight, Ramon?
I will reach Fiji on Thursday.
And you saying what, right?
Yeah, because when I book here...
Hello, Ramon, are you there? Ramon,
One second.
Ramon, are you there?
How are you?
Okay. I'm
Yes,
doing
I am.
good,
How are
Ramon.
you?
The Giants won. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I was going to ask you a question, Bob. Have you ever heard of somebody jumping from rookie A to AAA?
From A ball to AAA? There's been a lot of players that did that, Ramon. There's been several players that have jumped from A ball. When you go back to my era, Bob Horner. How about Bob Horner never even played one game in the minor leagues? You had some guys that went right from college right to the big league. So there has been players that have jumped a couple different divisions.
Yeah, because I'm a little confused because they had this Nicaraguan player that he was playing in San Jose, but he was only hitting 240.
Mm-hmm.
And now
where is he?
In AAA, Sacramento.
Do you have his name? Do you know who it is, Ramon?
His last name is Rizzo, R-I-C-O.
Rico. Okay, we'll have to look him up. I'll have to look him up right now. Yeah.
He's barely.
What is he, infielder, outfielder? What position does he play?
Outfield. He was playing in San Jose last week.
Well, they must have thought something about him because if he's all the way up in AAA, I'm trying to pull it up right now on you to see how he's doing or if he made the club or whatever. Rico Garcia, is that his name?
Yeah, last name is Rizzo.
His last name is Rico?
Rizzo.
I can't understand
from
it.
Nicaragua.
All right,
Last name
I'll have my
Rizzo from
producer.
Nicaragua.
I'll have my producer look that up real quick and see what he says. Hey, Ramon, did you happen to watch the game today? Did you see your boy Elliot Ramos go deep?
Yes, I did. I'm really happy about the game tonight. But I was going to ask you another question. Do you know the percentage of African American right now in the MLB? The percentage?
Not many. I know that. I can tell you right now, it's probably around 20% or less. Do you know the answer?
It's probably 6% from African Americans.
Yeah, I know. It's not as many as we think there are. No question about that. A lot of Latin players now are starting to generate more time in the big leagues, and that's good because there's some real good Latin players. Let me ask you something, Ramon. What do you think of Rafael Devers joining the Giants? I haven't talked to you since that trade was made.
It seems to me that he's overweight. He's out of shape.
Really? You think that, huh?
He look overweight the way he's running the base.
Well, he's injured. He's got a groin injury. Ramon, he's got a groin injury. That's why he's not busting tail yet. Hopefully, I don't know if he'll make the All-Star team. He was one of the top vote getters when he was with Boston. We'll find out tomorrow to see if he's going to be an extra. But he needs some rest, no question. He got a little lower back issue, too. I liked his approach today. He cut that swing down a little bit, hit that ball down the left field line. I'd love to see him start going to left field a little bit more.
Yes, I do, but I don't like his attitude. You know, when he was playing
No, Ramon, don't go there now. You don't know anything about him, and I'm not going to listen to that, Ramon. What you heard in Boston is what you heard through the media. I'm going to tell you right now, he's a team player. He's very good in the clubhouse. He's a good man, and I'm going to tell you that. Don't listen to the media out of Boston.
Okay, so one more question for you. Did you face Dave Parker when you were playing for the Giants?
I did, and he was a great man. He passed away. Of course, he'll be in the Hall of Fame middle of July when they announce him. The ball that I'll never forget at Candlestick Park off of Renee Martin, threw him a curveball. He hit it in the upper deck at Candlestick Park in right center field. It was a bomb. The man had power. He could go the opposite way. And when you're on the mound looking into him, he looked like a giant standing up there. He was so massive, and his arms were long, and he could reach the outside corner and take a low pitch and drive it to the center, drive it to right center or left center. A very tough out. But, yes, I did face him many times.
Do you think that he should be in the Hall of Fame long time ago? I don't know why they had to wait until this year.
I know. Well, that was the committee that voted him in. I agree right with you. But, Ramon, have a great rest of the night. I'm going to look up your buddy and see what he's doing in AAA. And it's always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. All right, let's go to Dave, and he's in Valley Springs. Dave, you want to talk about the All-Star game? I would love to. How are you tonight?
I'm well, thank you, Bill. I don't want to be the get-off-my-lawn guy, but, you know, baseball, it used to be when you had an all-star team, you had guys like Mays, McCovey, Mantle, Berra, Cepeda, Marichal, Koufax. Everybody was going to the Hall of Fame, you know, even when Johnny Bench started coming in and Mike Schmidt.
You just named one hell of a lineup right there, boy. Every one of those are in the Hall of Fame.
Seeing Frank Robinson. And I know that, you know, there's a lot more athletes going to football and basketball now, and I know there are more teams now. But do you think, you know, given if they had to play with, you know, the same rules like when Mays was playing with the same helmets, bats, the same bases, the same thing where you could throw at a guy's head like Drysdale would do all the time and he'd pop right up. And do you think these guys would have a chance against what, you know, the All-Star team used to be a Hall of Fame team. Now I don't even know half
the All-Star game used to have players play most of the game, too. They used to play.
Exactly.
Willie Mays didn't want to come out of the All-Star game. A lot of those guys played 6, 7, 8 innings. Now you play, you know, one inning or 2 innings and they're out.
And some years, well, Ernie Banks, he wanted 2, but they had 2 All-Star games some years.
I remember that. You know, you can't really you really can't judge what the players are doing today back in the day. Baseball's changed so much. Players have changed so much. The aspect of playing the game where you didn't talk to the opponents has changed the game. You see guys talking all the time on the field at second base, first base. It's like a big friend-to-friend conversation. I remember when we played with Frank Robinson. When Frank Robinson was a manager, he would get so upset if you even nodded at the opposition. Couldn't even say hello to the opposition. He used to say, if you want to go talk to him, go take him to lunch. Go take him to dinner. I don't want you 1 second telling that opposition hello. They're the opposition. They're the enemy, and you're here to kick their butt.
Yeah, well, Will Clark was that way. Jeff Kent.
Same way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and you
what
had
do
a
you think,
little
Dave?
bit of
Do you think?
that too,
Let me
huh?
ask you, Dave. Let me throw this one, Dave. You've been watching the Giants pretty much all year.
I have been.
So who do you think the All-Stars will be?
Well, I think everybody would say Webb.
Logan Webb, Robbie Ray. Do you think both of them are locked?
Yeah, I think Robbie Ray being left-handed and Webb being right.
Yeah, I think both of those should be in there. It starts really after that. I don't know if Ramos or Devers or somebody else that could possibly jump in there. I think those could be your possible. I tell you, the guy that I really would love to see is Randy Rodriguez get in. He's got a .71 earned run average. It's just so hard to take a middle reliever because they always take the closers.
Well, the only thing I would worry a little bit is, Webb has problems sometimes in the first inning. And, Randy could come in any inning with guys on or nobody on. But Webb, starting him in an all-star game or bringing him in the first inning, that can be.
Yeah, but that's totally different.
I think those,
Dave, that's totally different in an all-star game. He pitched last year in that game, and it was in the middle innings. That really has nothing to do with it if he's going to be the starter or not. I really believe he deserves in. I think Robbie Ray does. I would love to see Randy Rodriguez get in, but I don't know if they would take 3 players from the Giants. But, Dave, thanks for the call tonight. Great conversation with that lineup of Hall of Famers you're talking about.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to the end here. Let's get on with Andrea. Andrea from Berkeley, our final call tonight before we get to Mike Aldrey. How are you, Andrea?
Great. Yeah, no, it was good. The Mets beat the Yankees and the Giants won. And excellent pregame show, by the way, with Shayna Rubin and Jessica Kleinschmidt. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, thanks, Andrea. Yeah, Jessica was way back she was an intern back when Vida and I were doing Comcast and, of course, NBC Bay Area. That's where I got to know her, and she was a hard worker back then. And when I found out she was working with the Oakland A's at Oakland Coliseum, I was just so happy for her. When you see these interns work their tail off and they start moving and grasping into what they want to do, and she went to the minor leagues and worked, and then she finally got to the big leagues, and now the Athletics in Sacramento are using her like a multitasker, more or less in the media and doing interviews, and I really enjoyed her conversation with her today.
Yes, I've been on her show quite a bit, and fellow optimistic Sagittarius, so very nice work there. And
you like those Sagittarians, don't you, Andrea?
What was that?
I said you like those Sagittarians.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, as a Virgo, believe me, I can use all the optimism I can get. So that was really, really fun. And, speaking of fun, great Giants win. Logan Webb, November 18, 96. I think that was kind of a little special mojo to be in his hometown and, have that energy present. And he's having his Saturn return. Age 29, which is increased success, Mars return, high energy, so really quite nice. And it was interesting when Shayna Rubin was talking, I looked at her article, and today's Chronicle had stars starting to align for her headline about Robbie Ray.
I saw that article. She's a very good writer. I really enjoyed talking to her. She doesn't get a lot of press, and I try to bring her on as much as I can. A young writer, writing for the Chronicle. Of course, Susan Slusher is the best, and she's kind of getting there. And I just love talking to her. She gives a lot of good insight.
Yes, and last but not least, there's a cosmic coincidence with the Max Muncies, Bill. I was doing my Virgo due diligence. One plays obviously for the A's, one plays for the Dodgers, and they say they're not related, and they're both born August 25th. So that is
the same day?
Yes, two MLB
They both are born on the same day? Wow,
yes.
That is unusual.
And both Virgos, 12 years apart.
Wow, that's a good one. Well, so let me ask you this. You know, you listen to the Mets. You had to be pretty happy. The Mets beat the Yankees 2 in a row. They're going for the sweep tomorrow. All of a sudden, they got hot, huh?
I know. That was really wonderful to see. And, grand slams like Alonso. And, they made it look easy. They just really, 12 runs. And that was really great to see that Citi Field energy just really happening, and the home runs and the good pitching, pitching.
So Andrea, I gotta ask you, Andrea. Now, I know you're a Hayden Birdsong fan. What is he going to have to do tomorrow to get a win?
Yeah, good question. Fellow Virgo Hayden Birdsong. I got to take a closer look at his chart, but he's been really hard on
give me a
himself.
good positive chart on him. He needs a good game tomorrow.
Yeah, no kidding. His Virgo counterpart, Landon Roop, he's been doing good. And I remember when we talked months ago about them being in a race to see who makes the starting rotation.
Yeah.
And, I'll have to do my due diligence and look at Birdsong's chart.
Yeah, give him some kudos tomorrow, because he definitely needs to throw the ball well. He has been struggling, and especially in the middle innings when he's walking so many guys. But you know what, Andrea, thanks for the call. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and we'll be right back on tomorrow night.
Yes, look forward to it, and put out some good mojo there for fellow Virgo Hayden Birdsong.
Okay, if he wins, you better call me tomorrow, because I'll put kudos to you.
Yeah, win, lose, or draw, I'll always call and listen.
All right, Andrea, thanks for the call. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to close up the phone calls, and now I'm going to drop on a little information about Mike Aldrey. Of course, Mike is now coaching with the Oakland A's. He's been with them since 2015. And he's up with the Athletics, I should say, now up in Sacramento, but he started with the A's. Outfield coach, hitting coach, first base coach, and a bench coach. Of course, he played 10 years as a player, played with the San Francisco Giants from 86 to 88. He was a fellow teammate of mine in 1986. Just a good all-around guy, and he loves the game of baseball. Sat down with him yesterday to talk a little bit about his career and what he does with the Athletics, and I'm going to bring that up next right here on the Extra Inning Postgame Show on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
the best.
Hear him on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR. Play KNBR.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning Postgame Show. My guest was born in Carmel, California, went 4 years to Stanford University. He was drafted by the San Francisco Giants in 1983, played 10 seasons in Major League Baseball. Then in 2001, he became a coach in the big leagues. Since 2015, he's been with the Oakland A's, now the Athletics. Let's bring in Mike Aldrey. Mike, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Good to be on your show, and good to be still wearing a uniform.
Mike, I want to talk about the managers. You were with Bob Melvin for many years. He was with the Oakland A's from 2011 to 2021. Now Mark Kotze from 2022 is when he started. Both of these guys had to have a lot of patience. A young team, and they built it around young players. Tell me a little bit about what you see in both of them.
Well, first of all, we're talking about two of my favorite managers that I've been associated with in my career, and for different reasons. One that Bob Melvin, to this day, I will say, is as prepared as any manager who's sat in that seat. I think Kotz is getting to that point where he's super prepared for every game. I think things that they do have in common, they are both real good with their clubhouse, and they've both had to be because when Bob was here in Oakland and Cots here in Oakland / Sacramento, there's a lot of turnover, and at various times, both guys had to deal with, you know, doing a complete full makeover and going young and rebuild, and then anyway, I guess my point is they've both done a really good job, especially within the clubhouse, building a good culture, and sort of biting the bullet when they had to do the rebuild and keeping everything positive.
Mike, as a coach, you were an outfield coach, a hitting coach, first base coach, a bench coach, teaching skills. You have to be very, very, in depth in what you teach and watch these guys listen and learn. What are some of the things and techniques you do?
Well, I would have to say that one of the things that has actually helped me is the fact that through Melvin and Katse, we've had a lot of young kids. And when you have young kids at the big league level, there's a lot of instruction that goes on. So it does kind of get back to, and I think what helped me out was working in the minor leagues for a few years, where you actually have to teach guys how to play the game and how to play the game correctly, how to play the game in the big leagues. And then the other thing too is building relationships. I think it's when guys get here, they've all had success at some point or pretty much their whole careers, and now they get to the big leagues, and in order for them to even listen to a word you have to say, I think you have to get to a point where you build a relationship with them. I think what has to happen is you have to gain their trust, and once you do, then we can start instructing, and hopefully, they'll trust that you know what you're talking about, and they can get better and better and better.
That voice you hear on the Extra Inning Post-Game Show is Mike Aldrey, a current coach with the Athletics up in Sacramento. Mike, your defense was pristine when you played. You ended your career after 10 years with a .993 fielding percentage. You played first base and outfield. In 10 years, you only made 19 errors, 187 double plays. And, when you're moving from first base to the outfield, you played corners on the outfield. But the biggest problem was you had to play at Candlestick Park, which was difficult to play defense. What did you do back in the day at Candlestick, and how do you teach defense, especially how well you played?
I think that learning how to play the outfield in Candlestick actually helped me out a great deal. That's in my opinion, that is the hardest stadium to play the outfield in all of baseball, then and now. But yeah, we had some guy show up in San Francisco named Will Clark, and that pushed me really quickly into the outfield, and I literally had maybe a handful of games in the minor leagues or even in college in the outfield, and I had to learn in the hardest place ever. From my standpoint, I what you have to do is you have to call on veteran guys. I think Jeffrey Leonard was really, really good for me. I know that he talked to me and said, "Hey, when I first came up, we had a guy with the Dodgers named Reggie Smith, and Reggie Smith said, 'You know what, kid? Someday you're going to take my spot, but in the meantime, I'm going to give you everything that I have, and good luck to you. But I'm not going to be that guy who keeps his information so that I can hold on to my job a little longer.'" And Jeffrey Leonard did the exact same thing. It did help that Brett Butler and Chili Davis were really good people, really good players, and the kind of guys that said, you know, we want to help our team win. And if I can give Aldretti, some tips, some pointers, that's what we're going to do. And I'm very grateful to some of the older guys who gave me everything they had, and helped me out quite a bit.
Mike, two outfielders that have been playing so well for the Athletics, Denzel Clark, the center fielder, just making fantastic plays, and also Lawrence Butler. You talked about defense. You talked about people telling you what things you had to work on. Both of these guys just have that flash speed and that first break. Tell me a little bit about both of these outfielders because you've been watching them daily.
Yeah, I the Denzel Clark is probably in just probably 20 to 30 games, he has made plays that I have not seen in my 30 something years in the game. And that comes from athleticism, some of the plays that he's made. But at the same time too, I talked to him because I did the outfielders here for a while, and now Bobby Crosby, who was a fantastic shortstop, is in charge of the outfielders. And so I jump into some conversations with Bob and Denzel, and also Lawrence Butler, just to hear what they have to say. And it's really nice that it's more than just athleticism. I think his instincts are really good out there. Obviously, his speed helps, but he just seems to be in the right place at the right time. And we've also seen that he is not afraid of that wall, and that's a rare trait for outfielders. And I would say that Butler's the same. Really, really good athlete, and has really good speed. But more than that, they take pride in their defense. They're athletic. They've got good instincts, and you wrap all those things into one, and then you put Aldretti on the bench.
Mike Aldrey joining me for a few more minutes on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. Going to first base, my goodness, Nick Kurtz, 6'5", 240 pounds, left-handed, all the accolades of a good first baseman. There's been times he's been really good, and there's been times where it's been questionable. What does this young man have to do to be one of the pristine first basemen in the American League?
I think which is exactly what he's doing. He's getting more comfortable. He's getting better and better. But all of the attributes that we look for, he's got them. And don't forget, with a guy like Kurtz, this is only his first half a season. He wasn't with us the whole time either. But what he's shown us is that there's not a play out there that he can't make. Now his consistency, I think, is going to get better and better, better. No different than, he had some struggles early at the plate, but he figured some things out. He's a worker, and he's just going to get better and better. But you take a 6'5" left-handed good outfield, I mean, good athlete, and you put him at first base. With every day, with every game, with every play, he's going to just figure it out a little more and a little more and a little more. And like I said, we haven't even watched him for a half of a season, and I've got the feeling that he's going to be here for a long time, and it's only going to get better.
Mike, as we finish up here, 10 seasons as a major league player, close to 25 years as a coach. What brings you back to this ballpark every day? What is it, the love of baseball, that you continue to keep going year after year?
A lot of people have asked me, how much longer are you going to do it? Aren't you about ready to retire? I'm 64 years old. And my answer is pretty much the same. As long as I love it, as long as I can't wait to get to the yard, as long as I feel that I can contribute, I'm going to keep going. If some of those things, start falling by the wayside, I think more than anything, I think I'll love coming to the yard forever. I think that being around the guys and being around the players and being around the coaching staff, I think that will last forever. And at some point, I think they're going to let me know when the contribution is not what we're looking for. But until that time, I'm gonna every time they hand me one of those uniforms, I'm gonna take it and put it on.
Mike, it's a pleasure always catching up with you. Continued success coaching, and please don't take off that uniform. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
That was Mike Aldrey on the Extra Inning Post-Game Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey keeps the postgame rolling live right here.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
On KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM. The sports leader.
Back on the Extra Inning post-game show as we close out a Saturday. Giants win today at Sutter Health Park up in Sacramento. They beat the Athletics 7-2. 7 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Giants. 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Athletics. A home run by Elliot Ramos in the 5th inning, a solo. But the key hits came from Willie Adames. He got a key hit in the 1st inning with 2 RBIs. And then a 2-out rally where Chapman and Lee got base hits. And Adames got a nice double down the line. So 4 runs, 4 RBIs for Willie Adames as he goes 3 for 5. Brett Wisely also had 2 hits. He was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Logan Webb got the win, did a great job tonight, 6 2/3, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. Rodriguez, Rogers, and Bivens put zeros on the board. The Giants now are 48-42. Tomorrow, the last game of a 10-day road trip. The Giants are now 4-5 going into it. Hayden Birdsong gets the call tomorrow. He's 3-3 with a 4.3 earned run average, going against Jacob Lopez, a left-hander, 27-year-old. It's 2-4 with a 3.8 earned run average. I want to thank my guest tonight, Mike Aldrey. You can hear it if you missed that on all KNBR podcasts. Also, I want to really thank Kyle Har. He's been with me all day. We did the warm-up show together and now Extra Innings, but he's been in studio for a long time. I want to thank him for all his hard work today. And also Cole for picking up all the calls. And it's always a pleasure talking to Giants fans, and it's always a pleasure when they win. The phone calls are a lot better. So tomorrow we'll do it again. Bobby Crosby's going to join me tomorrow on the post-game show. I'll call it a night. My name's Bill Laskey. This is the Extra Inning post-game show. Be safe, be well. More coming up right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
It's another great outing for the right.